Hello, everyone, and welcome to True Words Aren't Beautiful. Here I am today, just giving you an update after coming back from Mount Amuyao, or rather, my attempt at Mount Amuyao, and a spontaneous day hike to Mount Batolusong, or however you say it. I mean, they spell it differently on the sign, they spell it differently in the advertisement, and I just can't say it. But in any case, I met up with a friend from my first hike last month in December, someone I met there in Mount Tirad, and he apparently organizes affordable day hikes, and I felt, you know what, I need to I need to finish something simple, I need to be in nature. So I jumped at the opportunity, not even $20 to go there for the day, and I had a lot of fun there. It was now 4 mountains in exactly a month of starting this pilgrimage. The difficulty level may only have been 3 out of 9, but it was irrelevant. Whatever difficulty level it is, could have been high, could have been low. I finished it, I enjoyed myself, and I totally crashed for several days because I didn't get any sleep on the Saturday night that we went there because I barely had 2 hours to rest from our van ride past midnight to the jumping off point where we climbed to watch the sunrise, and then we went back down. And when we got back down and I got home, I had to crash early before 10 p.m. on Sunday night. Could not do anything on Monday and Tuesday besides rest and relax. And that's totally fine, especially because the prior week there was that long hike to Amuyao. And tomorrow I will be going to Mount Pulag. Originally I was supposed to go to Mount Majas, but that has changed because of the schedule and some miscommunications, but I'll be having fun nonetheless. So today's topic on how we shouldn't bring our garbage with us, as the title of the video says. I'll start off with the subject of a very happy coincidence that I saw that a friend posted on social media, where he said, "Going into nature is my therapy." The same friend who took me to that day hike a few days ago. And I want to say that, yeah, it's great to go into nature, and I am here, of course, on this pilgrimage because I'm seeking healing and clarity. It's great, but you bring what you have with you into nature. It goes with what we've talked about before in previous videos, that you do not rise to the occasion, you sink to the level of your training and understanding. So, with some of my mental health care therapists, one thing that is reiterated time and again by them is that seeking mental professional health care for psychotherapy and so on, or going into nature for tranquility, the two are not mutually exclusive. They don't cancel each other out. If anything, they complement one another, and nature gives you a chance to appreciate the lessons of psychotherapy, whereas psychotherapy gives you a lot to ponder and meditate on when you're in nature. This is what brings me back to the question of who is Johnny C? What is my place in the universe? As well as freeing myself from that tunnel vision that arises from being stuck in one environment and social framework, as a reference to validate my identity. When you are stuck in one place all the time, same people, same family, same neighborhood, you begin to think that that's all that exists. That kind of parochialism that makes you forget, hi, we live in the universe. These 6 blocks that I live in, this vicinity, is not the entirety of the city of Metro Manila. It is not the entirety of this region in the Philippines. It is not the entirety of the entire Philippines itself, not the entirety of all of the Asia-Pacific region, and is not the entirety of the Earth itself, let alone the universe. Just like when I walk around each peak and the trail there and up the peak, whenever I look at a map, I don't think of a photo in a box. I don't think of the lines on the map. I think of every detail, from the grass beneath my feet to the wind on my face, and the struggle in the mud, on the slippery stones, and the steep hills. Everything that I've had to endure just to see a beautiful sunrise. And I think, as well, of this great gift and opportunity given by everyone to appreciate this in this mystic phase of mine, this mystic quest, rather. So, who is Johnny C? When I'm atop a mountain, however you see me as, whether you've known me from the past, whether you know me recently, whether you've discovered me through these videos, none of that matters when I'm up there, because I'm just a speck of dust in the universe, and it makes me so joyful that I'm not the person with all this baggage or all these traumas and all this hurt. I merge with the universe, I blend into it. Unlike those old Chinese Tang Dynasty scrolls, where you have a beautiful picture of the mountain and the trees, and you see a tiny dot which is supposed to look like and represent us humans. That is our place in the universe, and that is me. I don't think of my sexual assault when I was in college. I don't think of my narcissistic parents. I don't think of post-relationship breakup hurt. But I feel all of that. I feel the hurt. I feel the anger. And I feel it dissipate because I feel it instead of feeling it with resentment. I feel it with gratitude. The yin and the yang of all of it. It allows me to appreciate the sunrise and the sunset, the night and the day, the cold and the heat, the good and the bad. It's all contrasts. Contrasts and complements. It's all cycles. It's what makes waiting for something that you're hoping for all the more enjoyable, just like you wait for wine to age. From grape juice to sour grapes to fine, fine wine. This is validating every effort I've made trying to improve myself and transform. All my healing, everything I've done through seeking those therapy modalities I've mentioned, hypnotherapy, psychotherapy, art therapy, neuromuscular therapy. None of this would be possible again without all of you who've been following me and donating. Your intentions mean a lot, because I feel it whenever I'm on the mountain. I feel each and every one of you who thinks of me and wishes only for the best for me. Each of you who worries about my safety and wants me to be better, wants me to be happier, and wants me to heal. So I thank all of you from the bottom of my heart for that. Really. I feel it. I know it. And I wouldn't have been able to do this without your donations. So I have nothing but gratitude for all of you. And for those who criticize me and those who think this is stupid, this is just a vacation, I can't really think of them except for that I feel sorry for them. And it's funny how very simple lessons, especially those from Christianity, just come out spontaneously, where I forgive those who try to hurt me or judge me because they just don't know. And again, it said, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Who would have known there's so much wisdom and power in that level of understanding? I couldn't grasp it when I read it intellectually, and I'm not even Christian. So I see that, I say, okay, well, that guy understands something, I don't get it, I don't see what's so special about it. But when I arrive at that conclusion independently, and when I read those words, or I even think of them and how they're quoted often, yeah, that guy had insane compassion. And when I think of ask and you shall receive, yeah, that's very powerful too, because many of us do not have the humility to ask for help, whether it's from God and the universe or from people around us. If you simply ask for help, it will come. The other part of that is you have to be open to how it arrives, rather than dictating what you get. You can specify what you would like, but you still have to be open to how it's presented to you. Especially if you're communicating with higher intelligences. They know a lot more than you do. They can perceive things that you can't, the way that we can perceive the universe, the way an ant cannot perceive. So, Whatever comes, say yes more. Cornerstone of the philosophy of just do shit. Now, going back to therapy and going back to people I've met in my travels so far, I've actually encountered people who, when in nature, they do nothing but complain. These are people who have plenty of money, qualifications, and degrees that I do not have. Some even having multiple degrees, like one person who owns a publishing company, is a lawyer, is a pilot, so on. I don't care. I don't care what he has. I don't care how much money he has or who he is. I just found him very unpleasant because he wasn't lacking in anything, even looks or friends, but he was very unhappy and unpleasant. Rather than being happy to take a break from the rat race and from the city, people like him bring their gripes with them, and they dump it on others whether we want to hear it or not, or they just pollute the environment because their emotional garbage is so heavy, even if we're not talking with them specifically. They just bring everything down if we're around them, because it's as if they exist just to complain and they want an audience for their complaints. Little things such as they don't like the toilet, or the bag that they brought was not as good, the last time they were there was not as good as this time, and this time still isn't good, or the food isn't great. Complaining about things like their shoes or people they know back in Manila, and complaining about their first-class tickets to another country. And I'm thinking, why is this a conversation you're willing to have during a beautiful sunrise with good food and good company, fresh air, the sound of the stream, and a great view of the rice terraces? I can't fathom why they would complain. I mean, I might complain about bed bugs, if there are any, mosquitoes, or perhaps the fact they don't have any halal food because I can't eat pork. But why bring your garbage with you into nature? Don't leave garbage in nature, whether it's your candy wrappers or your emotional garbage. If you're going there to heal, that's one thing. But if you just go there and you keep complaining, bring your garbage with you does nothing. You bring it into the mountain path and back from the mountain into your life in the city. It makes no sense to me. Now, someone told me that this person might feel jealous of me, in fact resentful, because for the brief moment I chatted with him, I couldn't understand why a person like him and a few others would resent me for being on this pilgrimage, this soul odyssey, purely on donations. A couple $1,000s from all of you. Twice the amount I asked for, and I'm still trying to raise more as well, so that I can get to finish a couple of things and possibly head to New Zealand to see my teachers. But this guy makes at least 8 times that much. Some people make in that range, if not more, and they're complaining. So I guess that means whatever qualifications and achievements you have, whatever wealth you have, whatever social clout you have, that doesn't make you happy. I don't have any of that. What little I do have, though, feels like a lot, and I'm quite happy now, which is a major contrast to 2 months ago during my suicide attempt. Now, this could be vacation mode. I don't know. All I know is that in between, during the week, I have my little moments of irritation, but they're very minuscule, even when running to people who are unkind and unpleasant to me. Instead of fighting them, I just say, "You having a bad day, man?" Or, looks like this person isn't doing so well. Sucks to be them. Hope they feel better." Past me would argue with them, take it personally, say, "Why do they treat me that way? How dare they?" Arguing with them, putting them in their place for treating me wrong. Until I realize it's not about me. My identity dissolves on the mountain, and that dissolution, that disintegration. When I come back down, it's really hard to reconstruct the identity that I create that has been superimposed onto me by others. So, they see me, the few times they see me walking the streets of Poblacion, for example, that's all they know. They don't know the complexities of my life before, they don't know the journey I'm on now, or the work I'm doing on myself. They see fragments, and from those fragments they draw conclusions that lead to nothing, and says more about them. That's like looking at the back of a DVD or a VHS box and saying you know how the movie's going to be, without actually reading the text or seeing the entire film. Imagine doing that for a film like The Shawshank Redemption or Cloud Atlas, 3-hour masterpieces. Well, tough titties for them. So, I'm not here to hide from my problems. I'm here to address them by challenging myself and doing something different. I'm gathering insight and I'm developing myself, including skills such as vlogging and refining this channel. Really healing and seeing where it all goes from here. It just feels right. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, yeah, empty your cup and most definitely do not bring your garbage with you. No one wants your garbage. Yet, some people who have everything are still unhappy, and money just cannot fill a void that's needed, especially if it's a spiritual and emotional void. Yet, I'm finding any spiritual work and any emotional well-being that you do can fill in any void involving money, be it the scarcity of money or your abundance of money. When you feel good, whatever you have, whatever little you have, financially and materially, you can still feel good about yourself. And you can really appreciate it when you have more. But if you still have that void, and you have a lot of money and all the resources and achievements to develop this identity, money and all that power will never fill in that void, which is why so many people with money, and lottery winners especially, are miserable. So going back to therapy and nature, this is really where Taoism, the philosophy, comes into play. Whatever you bring in and offer is what comes back to you. And yet, if you go empty, completely empty, abandoning your complaints and your identity, everything and anything can come your way. Reminds me of an old martial arts thing that I learned in my practice, which is, if you allow nothing through, something will come through. If you allow everything through, nothing will come through. Now, that's something I will discuss more in detail when I post specifically on martial arts and philosophy in another playlist for this channel, but let's not think too much about that right now. What I can say is, yeah, it's kind of a contradiction. Going in empty and having everything coming your way in nature versus coming in with complaints, or in my case, coming in with the ideas presented to me in therapy that I reflect on. But a counterpoint is, perhaps it's precisely because of my therapy that it's much easier for me to empty compared to those who come in with nothing but complaints or don't seek any therapy or any guidance or any effort to improve themselves. They go in with their identities, they go in with their expectations about how they think they're okay, and they don't empty. They say, look at me, I climbed this mountain. I'll tag myself on social media and I'll show exactly what I've done. Versus, what a beautiful moment this is. Oh, that's right, I have a camera. Oh, it has no battery. Oh well. This moment is mine and the universe. Anyway, I will be going to Pulag tomorrow, as I mentioned earlier, and I will talk to you guys again next week. Thank you for watching. See you next time.